You are reading these words at the most crucial moment of your spiritual life, and this is no coincidence. Your heart has been guided here because the universe conspires in your favor, and today, a truth that has been hidden will finally come to you. I am Saint Michael, the Archangel, guardian of divine light and protector of souls who seek the truth. And I need to share something that will completely transform your perception of someone very close to you. For months, I have been watching your journey with growing concern. Not because you have done anything wrong, but because there are forces working against you in a way that you cannot yet fully see. There is someone in your life, someone you consider fundamental, someone in whom you place absolute trust who has been acting completely differently than they show in your presence. And the time has come for you to know the truth about this person. You know that strange feeling you've been having lately? That inexplicable uneasiness that comes out of nowhere, as if something isn't right, but you can't quite put your finger on it? That's not paranoia. It's your spirit trying to alert you to a reality that your conscious mind hasn't yet processed. Your intuition is working perfectly, picking up signals that your rational mind prefers to ignore for fear of the pain that the truth may cause. The person I need to talk about holds a special place in your heart. It could be someone in your family, a close friend, or even your romantic partner. It's someone who knows your deepest dreams, your vulnerabilities, your secret fears, and your greatest joys. It's precisely because they know you so intimately that this person has been able to have such a negative impact on your life without you realizing the real source of the problems. Lately, you've been facing obstacles that seem to come out of nowhere, opportunities that disappear at the last moment, situations that become complicated for no apparent reason, relationships that deteriorate without clear explanation. You may have attributed these problems to bad luck, fate, or even some kind of cosmic punishment. But the truth is much more earthly and painful. Someone very close to you has actively contributed to these difficulties. Before continuing, write this mantra in the comments. The light that guides me is stronger than any darkness. This statement seals your courage, your faith, and your spiritual rebirth, preparing your spirit to receive this revelation with wisdom rather than despair. This person has developed a very specific pattern of behavior. In your presence, they show support, affection, and loyalty. Their words sound comforting, their gestures seem genuine, and you feel you can trust them completely. But when you are not around, a completely different version of this person emerges. It is as if they wear a perfect mask in your presence and only reveal their true face when they are sure you cannot see them. What saddens me most as your spiritual protector is to see how you have repeatedly defended this person. When others made comments questioning their actions, you came to their defense. When suspicious situations involving their behavior arose, you found explanations that exonerated them. Your loyalty and ability to see the good in people, which are beautiful qualities of your character, have been cruelly exploited. This person's betrayal did not happen overnight. It was a gradual process, built up through small choices over time. Every time she had to choose between protecting her interests or protecting you, she chose herself. Every time an opportunity arose to truly support you or seek some personal advantage, she chose the path of self-interest, even though she knew it could harm you. You may be wondering why I'm revealing this now, and the answer is simple. Because you have finally developed the spiritual strength necessary to process this information without it destroying you. A few months ago, if I had shared this truth, you would have fought against it, denied the evidence, and continued to hurt yourself in an attempt to preserve an illusion. But now you're different, more spiritually mature, more prepared to face difficult realities and make wise decisions based on truth. This person's energy has affected your life in ways you can't even imagine. It's not just about concrete actions against you, but also a negative energetic influence that has drained your vitality, diminished your self-confidence, and created subtle blockages in the natural flow of your blessings. That is why, even when things seemed to be going well, you felt a kind of inexplicable weight, as if something were constantly sucking your vital energy. This negative energetic influence has been acting as an invisible field around you, interfering with your ability to manifest your dreams and goals. You may have noticed that when you're in the presence of this person for long periods of time, you leave the encounter feeling strangely tired, even if you haven't done anything physically exhausting. This is because they have been systematically draining your vital energy, feeding off your light to strengthen their own vibration. What makes this situation even more complex is that this person has developed an almost artistic ability to mask their true intentions. They have learned exactly which words to use to reassure you, which gestures to make to show affection, and how to create an atmosphere of trust even when their thoughts and actions are completely misaligned with what they express. It is such a convincing performance that even outside observers can be fooled. But the truth always finds a way to reveal itself in the near future. You will begin to notice signs that will confirm everything I'm sharing with you now. Conversations you shouldn't hear will reach your ears. Information that should remain hidden will emerge in a seemingly casual way. Documents, messages, or evidence that will reveal the true nature of this person's actions will appear in your path. Now write in the comments, "I now activate my spiritual protection shield." This simple act strengthens your aura and prevents any energetic imbalance from continuing to affect you as we process this divine revelation together. And if this message is touching your heart in any way, consider supporting this channel with a gesture of light. Click on "Thank you very much." This affection helps to keep alive this mission of delivering words that heal and awaken souls who need the truth to set themselves free. The reason this person has been able to keep up this charade for so long is that they have intimate knowledge of how you function emotionally. They know exactly how you react in different situations. They know your vulnerabilities, and they understand your deepest emotional needs. With this detailed map of your personality, they have been able to create a version of themselves that seems to be exactly what you need at every moment. When you are sad, they offer words of comfort. When you're excited about a new project, they show enthusiasm. When you need advice, they offer guidance that sounds wise and thoughtful. But behind this carefully constructed facade, there is a completely different agenda, motivated by interests that do not include your genuine well-being. What worries me most as your spiritual protector is that this person has been using their intimate knowledge of you as a weapon. Personal information you shared in moments of vulnerability has been used to manipulate situations in their favor. Secrets you trusted them with, thinking they were safe, have been strategically revealed to people who could use them against you. Dreams and plans you shared with enthusiasm have been subtly sabotaged to prevent you from achieving the success you deserve. You may be thinking that this sounds too elaborate, too calculated to be true about someone who shows you so much affection. But the reality is that some people develop this ability to manipulate almost instinctively, not necessarily because they are inherently evil, but because they have learned that this type of behavior brings them advantages and protection in a world they perceive as threatening. The motivation behind this person's actions can be complex. Perhaps they are jealous of your potential and the opportunities that come naturally in your life. Perhaps they're afraid that your personal and spiritual growth will leave them behind. Or perhaps they have simply developed a pattern of selfish behavior that prioritizes their own interests above any consideration for the feelings or well-being of others, even those they claim to love. Regardless of the motivation, the result has been the same. Your energy has been drained, your opportunities have been blocked, and your inner peace has been constantly disturbed by a toxic influence disguised as love and support. It's like having an emotional vampire in your life, someone who feeds off your vitality while maintaining a mask of care and protection. Write in the comments, "My energy is sacred and no evil has power over me." This shows the universe that you recognize your value and no longer accept being affected by toxic energies that disguise themselves as true love. The process of revealing this truth will not be easy, but it will be liberating. When you finally see this person without the lens of illusion, you will feel a mixture of pain, relief, anger, and gratitude. Pain for the betrayal, relief for finally understanding the source of so many unexplained problems, anger for the manipulation you suffered, and gratitude for having the opportunity to free yourself from this negative influence before it causes even more damage to your life. The discovery of this truth will mark the beginning of a new phase in your spiritual journey, a phase characterized by greater discernment, more effective energetic protection, and relationships based on genuine authenticity rather than subtle manipulation. You will learn to trust more deeply in your intuition, that inner voice that always knew something was not right, but that you stifled out of misguided loyalty. One of the most painful things to recognize will be how many times you ignored the signs your spirit was trying to send you. Those moments when something inside you cringed when that person talked about certain topics. that strange feeling you had when they showed interest in your personal projects, that inexplicable discomfort that arose when they asked very specific questions about your future plans or relationships. Your body and soul always knew the truth. They tried to warn you through physical sensations, energy shifts, disturbing dreams, and a general uneasiness that seemed to have no identifiable source. But your mind, trained to find rational explanations and preserve important relationships, found ways to justify these signs or simply ignored them. Now, with the truth finally revealed, you can look back and connect the dots. You will see how so many problems that seemed isolated and unrelated were actually part of a larger pattern of energetic interference and subtle manipulation. You will understand why certain opportunities mysteriously disappeared, why some relationships became complicated for no apparent reason, and why you often felt emotionally unbalanced after interactions with this person. Before continuing, write in the comments, "Where light dwells, no shadow remains." This is your invisible shield against everything that has tried to stop you until today. And now you are ready to receive more revelations that will completely transform your perspective on the relationships in your life. The way this person managed to maintain their influence for so long demonstrates a sophisticated level of emotional manipulation. They learned to alternate between moments of genuine support and periods of subtle sabotage, creating a pattern that kept you emotionally connected while gradually undermining your stability and self-confidence. It's a strategy that works because it creates emotional dependence through inconsistency. When someone alternates between being wonderful and being harmful, our brain develops a kind of emotional addiction. We become addicted to the good times, always hoping that the person will return to being the caring and supportive version we know. Meanwhile, we tolerate and excuse negative behaviors, always hoping that they are temporary or that there are justifiable explanations for them. This dynamic is particularly powerful because it mirrors relationship patterns that we often learn in childhood. If we grew up in environments where love was conditional or where we had to earn affection through specific behaviors, we develop a high tolerance for inconsistent and even harmful relationships in adulthood. But you are no longer that vulnerable person who accepted crumbs of attention disguised as true love. Your recent spiritual growth has prepared you to recognize and reject relationships that drain your energy rather than nurture it. You have developed a clearer sense of your own worth and a greater ability to distinguish between authentic love and sophisticated emotional manipulation. The person we are talking about is probably not consciously malicious. In most cases, people who develop these behavior patterns do so as an emotional survival mechanism, without full awareness of the impact their actions have on others. They may genuinely believe that they love you, even while acting in ways that harm your well-being. This reality makes the situation even more emotionally complex. It is easier to deal with declared enemies than with people who hurt us while claiming to love us. It is simpler to protect yourself from obvious attacks than from subtle sabotage disguised as care and protection. Write in the comments, "I am guided, protected, and strengthened by the angels of goodness." From that moment on, your life will be guided by forces that truly desire your growth and happiness, without hidden agendas or selfish motivations. What you need to understand is that recognizing this truth does not make you a cruel or ungrateful person. It does not mean that you cannot feel compassion for this person or acknowledge the genuine moments of affection you have shared. It simply means that you choose to prioritize your own emotional and spiritual health over the need to maintain relationships that are fundamentally unbalanced. Forgiving does not mean tolerating. Understanding does not mean accepting. You can empathize with the reasons that led this person to develop manipulative behavior patterns without sacrificing yourself to try to save or heal them. Your primary responsibility is to yourself, to your own growth, to your own inner peace. In the near future, you will begin to experience a lightness that you haven't felt in a long time. When this person's negative energetic influence is removed from your life, you will rediscover your natural vitality, your spontaneous creativity, and your ability to dream without limitations imposed by fears that were not really yours. The transformation you are about to experience will be profound and lasting. When this toxic influence is removed from your life, you will discover aspects of yourself that had been suppressed or dormant during the period of emotional manipulation. It is as if a thick fog is being lifted, allowing you to see your own inner landscape clearly for the first time in a long time. You will begin to realize that many of the limitations you believe to be your own were actually subtly implanted through seemingly innocent comments, suggestions disguised as caring advice, and a general atmosphere of doubt about your abilities and intuition. This person managed to plant seeds of insecurity in fertile ground, taking advantage of your trusting and open nature to introduce questions about your own worth and potential. The process of awakening to this reality can generate conflicting feelings. Part of you will feel relieved to finally understand the source of so much internal and external conflict. Another part may experience sadness at the loss of the illusion of a relationship you believe to be safe and nurturing. It is natural and healthy to allow yourself to feel this full range of emotions without judgment or rushing to get over it quickly. Write in the comments, "I am protected by invisible forces working in my favor." This opens the way for angels to act even more strongly in your life, removing obstacles you didn't even know existed and preparing the ground for blessings that were being blocked. And if you felt this message truly touched you, consider supporting this work by clicking "Thank you very much." This gesture, however small it may seem, helps us to continue spreading these messages of light to those who most need to awaken to these liberating truths. One of the most surprising revelations will be discovering how many opportunities were lost due to this person's subtle interference. Not necessarily through direct sabotage, but through discouragement disguised as realism, questions that undermined your confidence at crucial moments, and a general energy that lowered your vibration whenever you were about to take important steps toward your dreams. You may begin to remember specific moments when you were excited about a new possibility, a creative project, or an opportunity for growth. But after talking to this person, you inexplicably lost your enthusiasm or began to doubt the viability of your plans. It wasn't obvious discouragement that you could identify and question, but a kind of pessimistic energy that seeped into your thoughts and diminished your motivation. This type of influence is particularly insidious because it operates below the level of consciousness. You can't pinpoint exactly what was said or done to make you feel less confident, so you end up assuming that the doubts are genuinely yours. Over time, this pattern creates an unconscious association between sharing your dreams and losing energy, causing you to become more reserved and less spontaneous about your projects and aspirations. The good news is that once this influence is removed, you will experience a rebirth of your creative energy and natural ambition. Dreams that you had abandoned or put on the back burner will begin to resurface with renewed vigor. Projects that seemed impossible or unrealistic will suddenly become viable and attractive again. You would rediscover your natural ability to manifest positive realities when your energy is not being constantly drained or sabotaged. Before continuing, write in the comments, "My heart is light," and no evil can resist this vibration. This reinforces your inner strength and dissolves any energy that tries to destabilize you, making room for genuinely nourishing relationships in your life. During this transition period, it is important to be kind to yourself. The process of energetic restructuring after removing a toxic influence can be intense. You may experience mood swings, vivid dreams, unusual physical sensations, or moments of emotional clarity so intense that they are almost overwhelming. These are all signs that your energy system is rebalancing and healing itself. You're also likely to begin attracting different people into your life during this period. When your vibration changes, you naturally begin to resonate with individuals who are on similar frequencies. Relationships based on authenticity, mutual respect, and genuine growth will begin to manifest, gradually replacing dynamics based on dependency, manipulation, and energetic imbalance. The universe has a perfect way of filling the spaces left by toxic relationships with connections that truly serve your highest good. But first, you need to create that space, have the courage to recognize what is not working, and take the necessary steps to protect your energy and emotional well-being. One of the most notable changes you will experience will be an increase in your ability to trust your own intuition. When you are not constantly receiving conflicting messages from someone who claims to love you but acts in harmful ways, your inner voice can function with much greater clarity and accuracy. You will develop a greater ability to discern between people who genuinely want your well-being and those who have hidden agendas. This new intuitive clarity will fundamentally transform the way you navigate the relationships and opportunities that arise in your life. You will develop an almost supernatural ability to perceive people's true motivations even before they themselves are fully aware of those motivations. It is as if a part of you that was dormant during the period of emotional manipulation has finally awakened with full force. You will begin to notice that you can sense people's energy much more accurately. When someone approaches you with genuinely positive intentions, you will feel a natural expansion in your chest, a spontaneous openness that invites connection. When someone approaches you with questionable motivations or unbalanced energy, you will feel a subtle internal closing, an automatic protection that arises without conscious effort. This renewed ability to discern energy will be one of your greatest protections against future situations of manipulation or emotional abuse. You will no longer need to rely solely on logic or people's words to assess their intentions. Your body and spirit will become natural detectors of authenticity, instantly alerting you when something is not aligned with your highest good. Write in the comments, "I am invincible when I connect with the light of the heavens." This is not just a mantra, it is a call for your spirit to fully awaken to your inner strength and your natural ability to attract only relationships that honor and nurture your soul. During this period of renewal, you may find that some other people in your life also begin to reveal themselves in unexpected ways. When you raise your standard for authentic relationships, you automatically become less tolerant of manipulative or unbalanced behavior from any source. This can result in a broader cleansing process in your social circle, where superficial or convenience-based relationships gradually dissolve while deeper, more meaningful connections grow stronger. Don't be alarmed if some friendships you thought were solid begin to prove more fragile than you imagined. Sometimes relationships seem strong simply because they have never been truly tested. When you begin to operate from a place of greater authenticity and self-esteem, you naturally attract people who can meet you at that elevated level of integrity. The person who caused all this turmoil in your life may try various strategies to maintain their influence when they realize you are distancing yourself energetically. They may intensify their displays of affection, create situations that seem to require your support, or even provoke drama that historically captured your attention and emotional energy. It is crucial that you recognize these attempts for what they really are: desperate efforts to re-establish a dynamic that no longer serves your spiritual growth. Do not allow feelings of guilt or misplaced loyalty to make you retreat from the position of strength and clarity that you have worked so hard to achieve. Before continuing, write in the comments, "The presence of angels surrounds and protects me in all my ways." This gesture opens the wings of heavenly protection over you, ensuring that you have the spiritual support you need to navigate any attempts at manipulation or emotional blackmail. One of the most liberating experiences you will have is discovering how much energy was being unconsciously devoted to managing this person's moods, needs, and reactions. When you no longer need to walk on emotional eggshells or constantly adjust your behavior to keep the peace in a fundamentally unbalanced relationship, a tremendous amount of vital energy becomes available for your own projects and personal growth. You may be surprised at how much creativity, ambition, and spontaneous joy resurface when you're no longer unconsciously drained by a toxic dynamic. Projects that seemed impossible to complete due to lack of energy or motivation suddenly become not only feasible but exciting. Dreams that you had put aside because they seemed unrealistic begin to pulsate with renewed possibility. This burst of creative vitality is no coincidence. When you remove energy vampires from your life, all that life force that was being constantly drained returns to you with interest. It's as if you had been operating at only a fraction of your natural energy, and now you finally have access to your full potential. The transformation will extend beyond your personal life, also influencing your career, your creative projects, and even your physical health. When you're not constantly in a state of emotional stress due to toxic relationships, your immune system functions better, your mind becomes clearer, and your ability to make wise decisions increases dramatically. You will begin to experience more frequent synchronicities and opportunities that seem to magically appear at just the right moment. This is because when your energy is not being diverted to managing problematic relationships, you become more aligned with the natural flow of the universe and more receptive to the blessings that have always been available to you. Write in the comments, "Evil does not touch those who live in the light of truth." This seals your vibration in integrity and attracts the divine protective shield, ensuring that future attempts at manipulation or negative influence simply cannot find resonance in your energy. As you establish yourself more firmly in this new reality of authentic relationships and energetic protection, you will begin to develop a deeper understanding of the patterns that allowed this toxic situation to continue for so long. This awareness does not arise to generate self-blame, but to equip you with wisdom that will prevent future repetitions of these same patterns in other relationships. You may find that certain characteristics of your personality, while genuine virtues, need to be balanced with sharper discernment. Your natural ability to see the good in people, your tendency to give the benefit of the doubt, and your willingness to forgive and forget are beautiful qualities that should not be eliminated, but rather refined with more mature spiritual wisdom. The difference between unconditional love and tolerance of harmful behavior is a crucial lesson that will emerge from this experience. You can love someone deeply and still choose not to allow that person unrestricted access to your energy, your dreams, or your sacred spaces. Setting healthy boundaries does not diminish your love. In fact, it purifies it and makes it more sustainable and nourishing for both parties. During this period of renewal, you will also develop a deeper appreciation for conscious solitude. Moments alone will no longer be experiences of isolation, but precious opportunities to reconnect with yourself. Process your experiences without outside influence, and tune into your own inner voice without interference from conflicting opinions or energies. Write in the comments, "I receive the light, peace, and protection that rightfully belong to me." By doing so, you activate a portal of liberation in your life, making room for experiences and relationships that truly honor your essence and support your genuine growth. And if this message is touching something inside your heart, please consider supporting this delivery by clicking "Thank you very much." It is thanks to this gesture that we are able to continue bringing messages like this to those who most need to awaken to their own strength and value. One of the most surprising discoveries will be realizing how many important decisions you made under the subtle influence of this person, without even realizing you were being guided. Choices about your career, romantic relationships, where to live, how to spend your money, and even how to use your free time may have been influenced by seemingly casual suggestions or emotional pressures, disguised as caring concern. Now, with this expanded awareness, you will begin to make decisions based purely on your own intuition and authentic values. It may be a challenging process at first, especially if you are used to seeking external validation or approval before acting, but it will result in choices that are much more aligned with your true self and your spiritual destiny. You will discover that you have tastes, preferences, and dreams that you may not have even known you had because they were systematically discouraged or ignored. Talents that were minimized will begin to flourish. Interests that were ridiculed or discouraged will resurface with renewed vigor. Aspects of your personality that were suppressed to maintain peace in unbalanced relationships will finally have room to express themselves freely. This rediscovery of yourself will be one of the most exciting aspects of your healing journey. It's like meeting a dear friend you haven't seen in a long time, except that friend is yourself. You may be surprised by your own depth, creativity, and capacity for joy when you're not constantly managing the emotional needs of others or protecting yourself from subtle manipulation. Before continuing, write in the comments, "With every step, the angels steady the ground beneath my feet." This brings balance and confidence to this phase of personal rediscovery, ensuring that you have the heavenly support you need to explore who you really are without fear or hesitation. The new relationships you will attract during this period will be qualitatively different from anything you have experienced before. They will be based on genuine reciprocity, where both parties contribute to the well-being of the connection without hidden agendas or unmet needs that create imbalances. You will experience what it means to be truly seen, valued, and supported by people who celebrate your growth rather than feeling threatened by it. These new connections may arise in unexpected ways, You may meet people through interests or activities you have rediscovered, or through opportunities that open up when you are no longer limited by relationships that drained your energy. The universe has a magical way of connecting souls who are ready to support each other on journeys of authentic growth. One of the most profound changes will be in your relationship with trust. You will not become distrustful or closed off to new connections, but you will develop a much wiser and more discerning way of trusting. You will learn to distinguish between people who deserve your trust through consistent actions over time and those who simply know how to say the right words or create the right impressions. Your intuition will become your greatest ally in this process. You will develop an ability to sense people's energy very quickly, perceiving whether they are operating from a place of authenticity or whether there are layers of motivation that are not being revealed. This ability will protect you from future situations of manipulation and ensure that you invest your emotional energy only in relationships that truly deserve this precious investment. As we come to the end of this transformative revelation, I want you to understand that what you have experienced is not just an exposure of betrayal, but a profound spiritual awakening that will equip you for a life of much more authentic and fulfilling relationships. The pain you may be feeling now is temporary, but the wisdom you are gaining will be permanent and will protect you for the rest of your journey. In the coming days, you will witness changes in your life that will seem almost miraculous. Doors that were closed will open spontaneously. Opportunities that seemed impossible will become not only feasible, but inevitable. People who truly value and support your light will begin to appear in your life in ways that will seem orchestrated by the universe itself. This is no coincidence. When you remove significant energy blocks, such as toxic relationships disguised as love, you create space for blessings that were being blocked to finally flow freely. It's like removing a dam that was holding back a powerful river. The natural force of the water quickly finds its way. Once the obstacle is removed, write in the comments, "Truth, light, and protection accompany me every day." This ensures that your energy is aligned with goodness and shields you from any future attempts at manipulation or negative influence that may try to infiltrate your renewed life. You may wonder whether you should confront this person directly about their actions or simply distance yourself quietly. The answer depends on your own intuition and the specific circumstances of the situation. But remember that your primary goal is not to punish or educate this person, but to protect your own energy and well-being. Sometimes the most powerful action is simply to withdraw your energy from the toxic dynamic without drama or elaborate explanations. If you choose the path of gradual distancing, do so with awareness and clear intention. Don't allow feelings of guilt to make you waver in your decision or accept less than you deserve in terms of respect and genuinely loving treatment. You are under no obligation to sacrifice yourself emotionally to maintain relationships that do not serve your highest good. During this transition process, practice abundant self-compassion. Recognize that you did the best you could with the awareness you had at the time. And now you're making different choices because you have access to a deeper understanding of the situation. There is no need to judge yourself harshly for trusting someone who is not worthy of that trust. It speaks to the beauty of your heart, not to any flaw in your character. Before we close, write in the comments, "I am at peace, I am in light, I am protected." Let this vibration echo in your soul, creating an energy field that attracts only experiences and relationships that are aligned with your highest good and authentic spiritual growth. I, Archangel Michael, will remain your protector during this transition and beyond. You do not walk alone on this journey of healing and renewal. Whenever you feel doubts about your decisions or moments of loneliness during the process of establishing new relationship patterns, remember that you are being supported by heavenly forces that desire only your highest good and genuine happiness. The future that lies ahead of you is bright and full of possibilities that you may not have been able to imagine while you were energetically drained by unbalanced relationships. You will discover reserves of strength, creativity, and joy that you did not know you possessed. You will experience levels of inner peace and personal satisfaction that seemed unattainable when your energy was constantly being diverted to managing toxic dynamics. Your story does not end with this painful revelation. It actually begins here. This experience will become a watershed moment that will catapult you to a whole new level of self-knowledge, spiritual discernment, and ability to create relationships based on true love and mutual respect. As you move forward, remember that every person you meet along the way is dealing with their own journeys and challenges. Keep your heart open to new connections, but allow your recent experience to teach you to be selective about with whom you share your most precious energy. Not everyone deserves access to the most vulnerable and sacred aspects of who you are, and recognizing this is not selfishness, but mature spiritual wisdom. If this message has touched your heart deeply and you feel you can help others going through similar situations, I warmly encourage you to connect with our community. Subscribe to this channel not only to receive more spiritual guidance, but to be part of a family of souls who support each other on journeys of growth and healing. Share your own story in the comments, what you have learned from this revelation, and how you intend to apply this wisdom in your life. Your words may be exactly what someone else needs to hear to find the courage to make necessary changes in their own life. May the light that now shines more clearly on your path illuminate not only your own steps, but also serve as a beacon for other souls who are still navigating the darkness of relationships that drain rather than nurture. You're stronger, wiser, and more loved than you ever imagined. This is only the beginning of your true spiritual journey.